did you make of the crowd getting so behind Jordan at the end there?
I think it's great. I think it gives a kid that, isn't around much. I tell you the one thing about Jordan is he got Defensive Player of the Game by Blaine, the head coach, after one of the games. And so just his mindset and approach to understanding how he's going to be an effective player for us. And I could just tell a difference in his growth from the couple times he played at the beginning of the year to now with his defensive communication, his rebounding. And he's starting to see how important that is. And as far as the fans, I think they've been great for us all year. And for them to kind of give a kid like that support says a lot about them. I think it was pretty cool.
And is there really any more to take away from a game like this other than you guys got hot from three or, for a January game against the team that has been struggling like San Antonio? What do you take away?
We got to fight like hell to find the good, but also know we can get better. So we had 3 25-point quarters again. I think there was about 20 to 25 possessions of like elite defense. And then there were, the third quarter gave up 33 points. You expect some of that. And so just live in the healthy space of we're really good, but let's be picky. Let's be hard on ourselves about the details. But like you said, in the middle of January, playing, San Antonio, who's a little bit down this year, to have some really good moments of greatness, especially defensively, I think that's key. And I think tonight Nemi hasn't been in the rotation as much because we've been healthy, but you kind of saw why he plays a role on our team, and he changed the game for us in the first half and did it again in the second half. And that role and what he can do for us is very important for our team.
This is not a Wembanyama question. It's a Nemi question. When he had that big play under the hoop and dunked on him, he was exerting his physicality. Just how much do you like seeing Nemi have a matchup where he knows he can be physically dominant against a player that dominates? I
just like seeing Nemi be the physical and the presence that he played with on both ends of the floor. And so, he's one of those kids that doesn't know how good he can be. Hasn't been in the league a long time. I think he's only played like 300 minutes in the NBA. And so he's starting to see, like, when he plays a certain presence, we're a different basketball team, and I thought he did that tonight.
The Nets sub with like 4 minutes left. It looked like Drew was subbing off, and then JT just walked off, and Drew stayed in the game. They announced Drew. What happened?
They wouldn't let Svi come in the game, so someone had to stay on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Joe, you guys have been pretty good this year, down a starter, but down 2 starters. You go with Luke tonight in the double big combination. Just especially down 2 starters. How have you guys been able to kind of maintain and a little bit of a different lineup tonight than maybe you would have in other spots?
Luke was great. I think he's another guy where he's just getting better and better. I think he's one of, over the last 3 years, he's probably one of our best overall defenders. His ability to communicate, change matchups, guard different guys, guard different actions. Like him and Al minutes are great because those guys defend at a high level and they protect the rim. We got off to a good start because of that double big lineup. And then just being down 2 stars, it's a testament to the guys, to the character, to the locker room. The strength of the team is regardless of who's out, we play a certain level. I think that's the environment you want to create. And I've said it to the guys, regardless of who's in, who's out, I think we've got a chance to win any game because of who they are, and it's got to stay that way.
And, down Derek, Payton this year, I feel like we haven't talked a ton about him, but what do you notice difference in him this year, just with the consistency night to night?
Yeah, I mean, I think now that he knows he has a specific role, he knows his sub-pattern for the most part, he's able to bring different things, but we haven't talked about him a lot because he's been put in this box of an offensive player and a shooter, and quite frankly, his defense and his rebounding has been top-notch for us this year. And in games where we've lacked a step, might have been a step behind or needed a boost, he's come in and made big-time plays defensively and rebounding. He's always going to bring the offense. He's always going to shoot the ball well. But between his crashing, between his defensive rebounding and his defense, he's becoming an all-around role player, and it's good to watch him grow.
Joe, 32-9 record at the halfway point of the season. How would you kind of evaluate where you are at the halfway point? Are you about where you expected? And where do you feel like you still need to grow for the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have so much of an expectation or a goal to be a certain type of thing. What I will say is we just have to stay in the space of we're really good, but we could lose any game, and we got to be really hard on ourselves. And so it's annoying to be super critical of yourself, but we got to do that. Just hold each other accountable. Doesn't mean that there won't be tough times. 41 games left. We've got a ton of tough games coming up, so I don't expect it to go our way in these next 41, but I do expect us to just stay the course, and as long as we keep an open mind to getting better.
Joe, before the game, you talked about how transition defense is the most important. You called a timeout in the fourth quarter there. They didn't shoot particularly well in transition in this game, but there were a few times where you guys scored and then they got out right after a bucket.
4 points.
What's the balance of, like, do you count those as transition points? And how do you get better at getting back after makes versus misses?
We're like the #1 transition defense in the league, I think, or like top 3. And like you take a look at the stat sheet tonight, they only had 2 blocks. And so we shot more pull-up 2s than we had on most of the season, but that is a shot that we're willing to take because it comes with the balance of it's decent offense, but it's also a really good transition defense. And so our transition defense starts with our offense. 14 turnovers isn't too bad. But when we make the right play at the rim and we don't turn the ball over, our transition defense is really, really good. Those 4 points that we got, McDermott's really good at that. He does that once a game. And then it's also a give and take because Jaylen had went for 2 steals in the backcourt and got them, and then he missed one, and then they got the layup there. So that was a give and take one. So it's more about managing your transition defense with your offense and your spacing.
So when you call those quick timeouts after a bucket, are you like just reminding them of that, or like?
Oh no, those were our media. So it was our media coming up. The one I called in the 4th quarter was at the,
it was after
the 3rd quarter, right?
Vassell scored in transition after Drew 3. So that was
how much time was that?
6:30.
In the 4th?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was our media was coming up soon,
Gotcha.
I think.
Yeah.
And then the same one in the first half, right? Our media was coming up soon. Mm-hmm.
20-0 at home, so you're now halfway to the 40-1 record from the '86 Celtics. Do you care, or is that really cool? And
I didn't know they did that till just now.
No, okay. So does that record still resonate with you guys now that's like you've been undefeated for so long, it's almost not a thing anymore?
I think chasing things that out of our control are really hard. We can't control. Honestly, it hasn't been a goal of ours to go 20-0. The goal has been build a connection and an identity with the city and with the team to where they give us this lift and this level of support that they have, and that we play a certain type of way, like Celtic basketball, and we've done that the first 20 games at home. I think that's been the goal, and so win or lose, that's the main thing. When you play for the Celtics, there's a ton of records, traditions, great players, and if you chase them all, you're bound to let yourself down or I think have an unhealthy relationship with success. So I think it's more about just living in that space of what Celtic basketball is all about and play it as best as we can for as long as we can. And, we'll see what happens.
You just said it's annoying to be hard on yourself. Jayson the other day talks about you got to not be bored with making the right play. And a lot of similar things are being said. What's the trick? What's the key to kind of fighting past those urges to let go? Because you obviously did it in the 3rd quarter, and it's going to happen. But what's the trick?
I knew the 3rd quarter was going to happen. You shoot 68% from 3, and the other team shoots 20. There's bound to be a regression to the mean a little bit, and so you're naturally going to see a 28 to 32 point quarter. So you kind of know that's coming. But so the trick isn't to get caught up in trying to prevent it. I know that. It's never going to happen. The trick is to, when it does happen, quickly get yourself out of it. And so if we were to follow up the 3rd quarter with another 4th quarter, that's a problem. You know what I mean? But for us to have the 3rd quarter and then come back and have a 20-point quarter, that's, to me, is the trick. Is don't get caught up in trying to be perfect. Just constantly have an awareness of, well, are we playing the way we should be playing or are we not, and how quickly do we get back to that, Thank you, Joe. Thank you.